Sure. My name is Edward van Leent. I'm the chairman and CEO for the EPI Group of Companies. EPI is basically in the data center industry, and we're focusing on three specific services that we deliver. The first one is for data center design and validation, which is aimed at those people that are intending to design and build a data center to make sure that the drawings are all correct for construction. We also do data center auditing and certification. So that is the part where after the construction we are actually physically going to the site to inspect the workmanship and to see whether the site has been built according to the relevant standards. And the other part of our services are the training services, where we help people to understand how to design and build data centers, but also how to actually operate and manage the data center after they go live. In the training we are basically segmenting it in three different sections. The first part that we have is what we call the design and facilities build area. So that is where we actually help people to understand the design complexities, help them to understand which standards are appropriate in that particular design area, and then we teach them how to basically review designs and specify specifications for what actually ultimately will become their data center, including all the way up to how to actually run a project where people are going to build a data center. And we walk them through all the aspects of what is the standard, what are the key considerations, and how to actually run the whole project from a practical point of view. So we take the theory from the standards, but we get the people to understand this is what the books say and this is how it's actually done in the real world. After the build, of course, we get to deal with the governance and maintenance and operations of the data center. So we have a segment of training courses specifically aimed at that, running the traditional floor management, maintenance of the data center, but also certain specific trainings around, say, risk management, or security management, etc. Then the last section of the trainings that we have, that is more in what we call compliance. That is where we teach specifically on certain standards, and in our case we tend to follow the TIA 942 from a design perspective. So we teach people all the way through the design specifications based on that standard, but also on how to perform an internal audit on designs and the facilities as well. Well, it's actually very worth it. There's actually a trend in the industry. If you look at some of the research, they say there is a shortage of data center personnel. So from a career perspective, data centers is a hot industry, and therefore having certification always helps to land that first job, or if you want to reschool to a different type of area. Say you are in, for example, the IT industry, but like to understand more about data centers, then that would be a good thing to do. From a business point of view, we get the question sometimes, why would we need to send our people? Now they've been operating in data centers for a long time already, so what's the benefit really? Now, first of all, I think for companies it is very important to have all people with their nose in the right direction, so to speak. People from different background and experience might benefit to finally understand what are the actual methodologies and principles behind data centers. Sometimes we hear that people say, well, I've been doing it exactly like that, but I really didn't always understand why. Some people said, well, I had no clue, and apparently I worked in data centers for 15 years and I've done it 15 years wrong, or at a high level of risk. So that is where it could add some benefit. Now in the design area, we often see that people actually get designs from external consultants. And of course every consultant has their own way of presenting things and have their own views on what they believe is right. Okay. Now obviously by having your people certified and trained, you are a better spokesperson to your consultant to say, well, this is my requirement, or I want to follow this standard, not what you believe is the right standard, because we believe that this is better to fit our business purpose. The best start is always at CDCP, the Certified Data Center Professional, which is a globally accredited course, and that gives them the foundation. So it runs through what is a data center, what are the key elements from a design perspective, and it gives also a bit of a flavor what you need to consider if you actually manage and operate them once they go live. So it gives a bit of an aspect of all the important parts of the whole life cycle of a data center, from say design all the way till retirement. Now, depending on what their job title and interest is, they might either continue in the design facilities track to really get detailed information about how to design, how to calculate and how to manage the project. But if they're more on the governance level, then they probably want to go from that level onwards into the more specialized in those particular areas. From an industry perspective, whether you are in a stock exchange or in a bank or in a manufacturing or in a commercial provider, it doesn't matter. We all have to deal with data centers. So it's industry neutral, I would say. From a job perspective, it very much depends on, say, which type of course you would like to do. For example, if you are an engineer and you're involved with a data center design because either you design it or a consulting company is design it for you, then you probably would be beneficial to go through the design and build area, right? But you might not be so worried about, for example, operations, because that's not your part. Now, if I'm a floor manager, so then I probably would be more beneficial by knowing a little bit of the, say, facilities. But I don't need to be an expert on building because that's not my forte, that's not what I do. So then you probably want to supplement that with, say, for example, an operations and management course. Throughout the world, we operate in about 50 countries and over 126 cities now. In Thailand, the best option is to go for Network Training Center, which has been our very long-standing partner already. Known in the market, for their quality, professionalism, and support. So that is the starting point for Thailand.